evening, YouTube. Today it is Thursday the 29th of June, and sometimes I have those days where I'm on edge because of things that go wrong, and today is one of those days, and it continues to be even now. So I'm going to try and explain to you the story of today and try and do it in time order and how my day panned out. We'll see how my storytelling skills go. So, continuing from yesterday, you may, if you've seen that video, be aware that today I was going to pick up from Derby and from Stafford and then drop off in High Wycombe. I was starting off at home and I had on board a pallet to be delivered tomorrow morning at Manchester. So I was quite restricted as to what I could do. I had to look at the feed. This morning I woke up quite late. I was quite tired after yesterday. I didn't really get going looking on the feed until about 10 o'clock. And I had to look at the jobs, trying to find anything suitable to get me towards Derby, really. And then a job came up on the CX system, which was from Peterborough. Well, actually, it was outside of Peterborough, but on the CX is Peterborough, going to Wolverhampton. And it was advertised as a backload, but no specific amount given. And I had a look at that, and I thought, because it's a backload, they're going to be a bit more flexible with me having a pallet on board. So I did put a bid on of initially £95, and the mileage was 98 miles, and it's for a long wheelbase vehicle. And then it was reposted. The job got cancelled, it was reposted. So I was thinking I may have gone a little bit high, bearing in mind I'm co-loading. So I put another bid in at £85, and I got a call. And the guy on the line had a very strong foreign accent, and I couldn't really understand him very well. And I made it clear to him, I don't think he could understand me very well, but I made it very clear to him I had a pallet on board, and was that okay? And he asked me how much space I had left. I had previously measured the space. I've got 2.5 metres spare in length, and weight-wise about 700 kilograms available. So I told him that, and he was asking me how long could I get to the pickup. It was due to be picked up about 11 o'clock. This was about 10 o'clock when I had the conversation. And I was about half an hour away from the pickup, so we had plenty of time at this point. And we had a conversation about it, and I wanted to be really clear with him what I could and couldn't do. And he asked me to reduce the price down to 70, and I said there was no way I was going to do it. I said very nicely I wasn't going to do that. I'd already reduced it from 95 to 85, and that wasn't going to reduce it anymore. He asked if I reduced it to 80. I said no way. And again, very nicely repeated what I said. I'd already reduced it. That, if you can see that road closed. I'm meant to be going down there. It's another thing that's gone wrong today. So I don't know. My sat nav is going to give me a new route now. It's saying to go down the road that's closed. So I'm going to try the one next to it and see where I end up going. So it's typical. Right. So we had a conversation about what I could do and couldn't do, and he tried to bow me down, and I just wouldn't have any of it. I thought 85 was a fair price. I said that to him, and in the end, and I thought there's no one else going to be around before 11 o'clock to pick up this load. You've called me for a reason. I'm not going to change. I'm not going to change my mind. And if I didn't get it, I wasn't that bothered. But it was obvious to me from his tone of voice, asking about how long I was away from it, that he just wanted to get it cheaper. I didn't get a sense that it was a special load that had to be done cheaper for a reason. It was an ASAP delivery. He just put backload on. So, although he was a nice guy, I must say, and I won't mention the company name because it was a really big company, not a national company as far as I'm aware, a local Wolverhampton company. And I think they're just trying it on, and I just thought, no way, mate. I'm sticking to my guns here, and I don't think I'm going to change you. I think you'll change your mind to me. And in the end, he gave me the price for £85. And then he said, oh, actually, can you do another job for me at the same time? Can you get to Northampton after your first pick up some more boxes? And I said, yeah, I'll do that for you, but it's more money. And then I said, and he said, eventually said, I'll do it for 100. And I said, I would do it for 100, that's fine by me. So we agreed £100 to do the two pickups. And then he came back to me, he said, can you hang on for a moment? So he went off the phone. I was still on the line, but I was waiting for him. And he said, oh, can you do a third stop right by our depot? I said, yeah, but not for the same price. So we agreed another £15, £115 for the 3 pickups. And by this point, it was about 10 to 11. So he asked me again my estimated time of arrival. So I said, it's going to be 11:30 now. And I made my way to the pickup. The reason why I'm pausing is that my setup is telling me to go back the way I came. So going down this road isn't really working very much. I'm just going to keep going forward, see where it takes me. Oh dear. And then I picked up the first pickup, and he said it was 9 boxes, and he was right, it was 9 boxes, but it was 9 boxes of furniture. I had this massive sofa and 4 or 5 chairs. They're in boxes, but they were big items, and effectively they filled up my van. I had 75 centimetres left at the end. I rang them and I said, I've not got much space left. I will try my second stop, but I doubt if I'm going to have room for the third stop. Oh yeah, and also the first time I rang, I was at my first stop. I rang the shipper because I was waiting. After about 20 minutes, I rang them to prepare them for my half an hour going to start my waiting time. And there's no answer. I was on the phone for 5 minutes. I went to answer phone. In the end, I went to answer phone. So I wasn't that impressed with the company as a whole. Then the guy rang me back between my first, just before I left the first stop, and I said, "Can I have your direct dial number so I can get hold of you?" And he gave me that. And so I gave him my new ATA for Northampton, and we agreed that it probably would fit on. There's only a couple of boxes, he said. So I made my way to the second stop, thinking, am I going to get these boxes on? Got there. At first, I couldn't find it. It was the name of the company on the notes was not the name of the company that I was going to. I had 3 names for the company on my CX notes, and the company was actually called just the last name. And it wasn't very clear, and it's a one-way system, and there happened to be an accident right on the junction, so I had to go all the way around the one-way system each time I made a mistake. So I was a bit delayed finding the place, and I did think about calling the shipper, but I thought they haven't been that useful when I called them. He keeps going to answer phone if I call them. So I went to a local place that I thought was the right place, and asked them if they knew where it was, and luckily a guy knew it was, and they sent me to the right place. When I got to second pickup, I had to wait for 10 minutes, and I was thinking, well, this is now overall over half an hour waiting time, so I'm going to be asking for 10 minutes, £10 for my waiting time. And at second stop it was just 1 box, and So I've got the box on. It was quite small. I thought, okay, fine. I've got enough space now to go to the third stop. So I contacted the shipper, got hold of him, explained to him that I wasn't going to try to the third stop, and made my way there. And then I got stuck on the M6 going north in an accident, and it was a 40-minute delay. And I was stuck in that all that time. Because my sat nav had told me it was going to be an hour and 10 minutes from Northampton to Wolverhampton, I just assumed that was the distance. But actually that was distance including the delayed traffic. And as I was in the traffic, it kept going up by 5 and 10 minutes every so often. So in the end, my ETA was going from being 4:45, which is what I told the shipper, to 4:30. So I rang him back and said I'm delayed in traffic, and he said, can you call the third place? So I called them. At this point in time, my sat nav was saying 4:05, but I thought it's going to be later than that because I'm not getting anywhere. I called the third place and told them where I was, and they said they closed at 4, so we'd have to pick up tomorrow instead. So that's made that decision for me. I let the shipper know that it was closed, and I was on my way to their depot. I eventually got to the depot, and thankfully there was a couple of guys there that helped me unload, and I eventually got out of there. It would have been about 4:45 by this point when I got out and unloaded. And my plan then was to go, because I was closer to Stafford than Derby, pop to Stafford, pick up drops there, pop to Derby, pick up drops there, and see what the time was, and see how I was getting on. So I did that. Now, at some point along the journey, I don't know when it was, but I noticed my van was handling changed, because something in the back was moving very, very slightly, and I wasn't. No, it must have been after Stafford. Yeah, I went to Stafford, I picked up that load. It was between there and Derby when I noticed there was some movement in the back of my van. And I was pretty sure it wasn't what I just picked up, because I struck that down pretty well. So I carried on for a bit, just being mindful of it, and it kept on moving, and I thought something's come loose here. So I hesitantly had a look at the back, and it looked fine until I looked a bit more closely at the strapping of my pallet, and I realised it had snapped. When I say snapped, I can't tell because I can't get down to it, but I think the hook bit has come off the end of the webbing. I don't think it's actually snapped, but I think it's just pulled off the hook. And what had happened is my pallet had moved. The stuff on top of the pallet had come away slightly and moved along the pallet. The pallet stayed where it was, and the cans on top had moved. It's really anxiety driven, because I think they're still on the pallet. I think it's moved by 6 inches. I think it's still there. I tried to ratchet them back. The load is 490 kilograms. It's right next to a bulkhead, and I can't move the items back into the centre of the pallet. So I've had to ratchet around the pallet so that it doesn't go any further off the pallet. But I'm not convinced that's going to work. I'm driving really steadily. I'm quite anxious about what's going to happen when I get to the other end, whether it will fall off the pallet or whether it'll be okay. I'm going to have to explain to the shipper what's happened, that my strap is broken and that its pallet's come loose. It doesn't make me look very good as a driver, and I've still got all of tonight to get my load for today unloaded at High Wycombe, and then get across to Manchester. So that's not been very nice. So the traffic and my pallet and the toings and throwings today, and now having that junction closed that you witnessed, and now I'm not quite sure where I'm going. I think I'm now going back onto that road. Oh yeah, it is. I'm going back into the M40, which is the right road. So this traffic is going onto it, so I'm now in the right place. So yeah, let's sort that out. Okay, so not the greatest of days. Quite a lot of worry from my point of view, and I'm still going to survive it. Oh yes, sorry, I missed that. It wasn't just that. I got my AdBlue warning light up again as well today, and so I've been trying to. This is it, yeah. It came up just before I got to Stafford, and I thought, well, I've got enough mileage. It's going to give me 500 miles until the engine stops. I thought I've got enough mileage to get my pickups done. I've got to get them today. And I got to Derby, and I thought, what am I going to do now? Do I go? My original plan, go to High Wycombe, and then go to Manchester, and then from Manchester drop off my load, pick up my daughter, and go back to home. And that's around about 500 miles ish, maybe a bit less. But that's really pushing it, really risking it. Or do I go straight from Derby to Manchester, and then when do I then get rid of my load that I've got? I know my shipper is flexible, but I'll have to go down on Saturday, late on Saturday, because I'm delivering my stuff back from my daughter on Saturday morning. So I'm just not going to get time to do that. Then I thought, well, should I go home, sleep in my bed, then go down to High Wycombe? I thought, time-wise, I've got time to do that. So I thought to myself, what would I do if I had no warning lights? And I thought, what I would do is I'd get myself to High Wycombe tonight, tramp out of the depot, and tomorrow morning, as soon as I could, I would get this offloaded up to Manchester in the morning. So I then needed diesel. I was running radar diesel, and I went to try and find a place to fill up, and the first place I got to was a truck stop, which I thought I couldn't really go to. At this point I was 25 miles to go before I ran out of diesel, and so I carried on. I found the next Key Fuels one, which was 50 miles away. I got there and it was all closed up, so I knocked on the window and there was someone there, and I did ask them, can I do Key Fuels? They said yes, but the other pump, can you go to the other pump? So I eventually got to the right pump, got it filled up, and I thought, oh, I'll get some AdBlue, and they didn't have any AdBlue with them. So I thought, I'll put AdBlue in, it might get rid of the warning light. It didn't. My other hope was maybe when I restart my engine, it will restart the countdown, because it did that last time, and it did. So I'm now back to 500 miles again, and I think I've got enough mileage, because I've only got 60 miles to get down to High Wycombe now, and it's about 150 to get to Manchester, about 150 back to home. So I reckon I'm going to use 360 for 400 miles, and the AdBlue warning gives me 500 miles. So I'm going to risk it, just carry on driving, get all this stuff offloaded, get my daughter's stuff back home, and I'm hoping that it won't break down in the meantime. But obviously that's on my mind all the time, that this warning light could come back on at any moment. It's gone off at the moment, it's not on right now, but at any moment it could come back on and make me anxious about the whole thing. So there's been quite a lot going on today that's made me have to think very carefully about my decisions. Let me give you my stats for today. They're not very impressive, I must say, because I'm not going to get my pickups delivered today, so I can't get those counted for income until tomorrow. So my total working day today, by the time I finish, is going to be 12 hours. I'm going to have driven 310 miles, 310 miles. Because of my fill up, I've got a new average pence per mile now for this week. That's 14.39 pence per mile. I've driven, because of the amount I would have driven today, I will have spent £44.61 on fuel. And my gross earnings today is just the one job, which was the 2 pickups from Peterborough and Northampton, dropping from Wolverhampton for £105. Oh yeah, I got £105 at the end. We didn't do the £15 third pickup, and I compromised and only charged £5 for waiting because it just was easier that way. So £105 for my earnings. That means that my net earnings after fuel today are £60. So I've had 3 poor days this week. One very good day, which was almost equal to 2 good days, and then tomorrow is going to be an average day. So I think overall this week I'm going to have quite an underperforming week. There's been a variety of reasons for that, which I won't go into. Some personal stuff. But I just need to get myself back to High Wycombe, back to Manchester, back home without any further problems. And then next week it will be a short week for me because I've got the windscreen being replaced on Tuesday, and I probably need to take my van in to be looked at on Monday now. I have got that service place booked already from last week. I didn't cancel it, so I'm going to use that on Monday and see if you can do anything with it. Right. Oh yeah, the other thing I did today was you may have had a video come up in my feed, a short video about some shorts that I filmed. So I filmed about 8 shorts to go on my channel about just things that were like short bits of advice for new drivers, sort of things I've already mentioned, but just in a short video format. And my aim was to put them on my feed as shorts. I recorded them and then I had a look at what is a YouTube short, and actually it's a different thing. It's actually 60 seconds or less, and it has to be portrait style filming, not landscape style. So those videos I don't know what to do with at the moment. I either have to redo them for 60 seconds, which is quite tough, or put them on this channel, or just leave them out because I already mentioned most of it. I'll do something with them, I'm not sure when. Right, I'm quite tired now, so thank you for listening to a video. Oh, I almost forgot. We've got an 11th superstar. We've got 11 subscribers now. Thank you very much. Number 11. I really appreciate you joining us. I've been thinking about how I'm going to deal with my supplementary chat about weight. I think I will. Oh yes, yes, I'm so tired I keep forgetting what to say. I'm going to thank James for his comment, because he made me realise something that I should have known really already, and that's this is my channel, so I should just do what suits me, and I shouldn't be trying to pander to an audience I'm never going to meet. And his comment was very insightful, and I think, yeah, I should do that. I don't mean to be nasty about it, I just mean there are lots of people who do this much better than I do. I'm not trying to compete with them. So what am I trying to do? I'm trying to just present myself honestly and openly in a format that I feel comfortable with. So why not just do what I want to do? And then it'll be authentic. I mean, I suppose that's what James is saying, be authentic. So yes, I am going to put on my weight journey. I just want to think about how to do it, because if I'm not careful I'll do it in so much detail that it'll become monotonous. But I'll come back to you on that when I've had a few thoughts about that. Right, this is definitely the end. Thank you for staying with this. What have you learnt today?